What is going on, Sports Card Fiends? Hopefully you guys are having a wonderful day, and today we're here with a video on how to avoid bad purchases within the hobby. Purchases that, once you make them, you feel good about. Maybe once they get in the mail, you still feel alright, you rip it out, you're having a good time, and then the card sits there for a little bit, and you're like, why did I make that purchase? What was the point? And then you start to question it. And this is kind of what we're seeing now. Whenever the hobby takes a downturn, those people that truly question what cards they have, they will then probably sell, and that's what kind of leads to this just snowballing effect, because people have never really taken the time to sit back and think about what they have in their collection. So that's what we're going to talk about today, how I go about avoiding those certain pitfalls. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. If you do, make sure to leave a like, and any videos, any knowledge, tips, whatever, let me know down below. Might be able to make a video out of them, or I could just answer your comment. Generally speaking, in the hobby, information, research, it's one of the biggest things. It goes throughout almost all aspects of life, and that is one of the biggest factors here. Typically, what will happen is you'll buy a card, well, in the case of regret and remorse, is you buy a card and then you realize that the card really isn't worth what you paid or what people think it's worth, or for whatever reason. Maybe it's pop, maybe it's just low quality of the product, maybe it's just a bad image, bad set, bad player. Could be a ton of different reasons. But at the end of the day, if you're sat there thinking that within a short amount of time after, that's probably because you didn't do adequate research that actually makes you feel good about your purchase and confident in what you are buying. And this is where the hobby truly becomes interesting, because some people are just looking for future value of cards. So they'll try to chase what people like, looking for future value, even though what people like now is the future value of the past. You've already missed. You can't then hit the next wave. You've already missed a wave. And that is a problem. So you have to look at these things almost removed from other people. And that's what I'm going to say as the second point, is to try to be a contrarian, or even just try to be yourself as much as you can in the hobby. Now, that's not to say that everything should be PC or everything should be investment. Most people are probably going to have a mix of both, because that's what's fun, that's what's enjoyable about the hobby, in my opinion. And so I think the best way to go about it is to just avoid the noise. Just, everyone likes to hop on Insta, see what's going on, see what people are doing, scroll through, and you see all these cards. And at the end of the day, typically people come off of the app and then they think about the cards they just saw. But in reality, the cards you just saw are some of the most plentiful and most available cards, because they're showing them everywhere. And it's also typically people that then are going to want to sell at some point, because all these people that have been in the hobby for a short amount of time, they'll have these types of feelings at some point, and they'll probably sell. Which then brings me to the third part of this, and that is FOMO, fear of missing out. You hear it all the time. That's the small aspect of it. But on the larger scale, think about it with anything. We all have most people have a lot of time on the planet. You never know, but there's probably a good time horizon going on here. And with all these cards that you're seeing everywhere, they're plentiful cards that people have, and over time are probably going to want to sell, unless it truly, really deep down means something to them. And that's the thing. Maybe the price that they sell at won't be the price today. Maybe it even goes up in the long term. But the point being, it is still accessible. You can still acquire these things. Maybe it takes a little bit more capital, but of course you have all that time to accrue more capital to have other things. And if you truly, really do need something, you can always take a little bit of a loss on getting it. And if you truly, really do desire that thing, you won't feel bad about making your purchase on it. So you'll be okay with that. But just know, everyone's going to be able to sell at some point. No one's going to hold all of these and just keep them within their grasp. So as long as you sit back, make sure you like the item, then you'll be good to go. Typically, the people that are upset about whatever item they bought and feel buyer's remorse are not people that sat back for 2 to 3 months looking at an item and thinking about it and wanting it. Because if you sat back for 2 to 3 months to buy something and then you bought it and were like, I don't know what exactly that would speak to, but obviously it's a lot less likely to happen at that point. If you've wanted it for 2 or 3 months, I don't think it's just going to diminish immediately. The fourth point that I'd like to get into is also just knowing what the final destination of an item that you're buying could be. Maybe it's in your collection, maybe it's in someone else's collection, however it plays out. Think about why someone would want this item and what its true final destination would be, and if someone's actually going to enjoy it as much as you would hope it should be enjoyed. Because I think that is another aspect of where this comes from, because people will buy something and then realize, I don't like it as much as as I thought I did, and also I don't think other people liked it as much as they thought they did. And once everyone kind of sits around and looks at each other and wonders if that's what's going on here, then that's where you get the panic. That's where you get some people selling purely because they don't even know what they just bought. They just bought it because either they thought it was going to stonk, or because they slightly liked it enough to just see it in person, and that was about it. Either way, it's pretty flimsy, so as long as you kind of have an idea of what the final destination is, that will help guide you. Because at the end of the day, like everything in this hobby, the things that are going to be worthwhile in the long term, things that people are truly going to covet, are items that are rare, unique, collectible, good condition, great players, all these different aspects. And if you can collide that all into one thing, then that's great, and it would make for a great piece to have as someone's collection. But if something isn't going to be a piece at all of anyone's collection, like Base Prism is an example, there's so much of it that no one's ever really going to be like, yes, finally, I've added this Base Prism to my collection. I mean, no one's going to think that, of course, and that's why that they are lower prices, but at the same time, what's the floor for them? No one really knows, because at the end of the day, no one really needs Base Prism in their collection, and that's kind of what we've been seeing over the last 6 to 8 months. And that kind of shifts into the final point of this video, which is just understanding value. What I preach about all the time is if an item has that much value to you at which you're fine with purchasing it at its current price and you're going to be happy with it for a long time coming, then you'll never be in this situation because you place that value on it yourself. You feel like it is worth that, and that is enough to keep it in your collection, keep you going for a long time. Typically, the things that people are more likely to just sell and get rid of and fire sale are the things that they see that has no value to them or almost anyone else. And the ways that you can go about kind of understanding value and perceiving value in a better way, I would say, is just to be involved in a few different segments of collectibles or just markets in general. Being in different markets allows you to have perspective from one to the next, and then from there you can kind of go from overvalued markets to undervalued markets and just kind of move your way up and climb your way up the ladder. And that is a great way to go about both collectibles and just markets in general. Personally, just in collectibles alone, I like Pokemon, I like comics, I like sports cards, obviously soccer in particular, so kind of having those few things along with some others to be able to kind of bounce and pinball ideas off of is great, because it allows me to kind of put everything together in a scale, and then from there I can kind of see where stuff's shifting and what stuff's being undervalued, what stuff's being overvalued. And I think that that is a great way to go about it. Combined with the rest of these approaches, you should be able to find yourself a better collection, one that you feel more proud of and are able to hold long term with a lot of confidence. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like. Anything you want to tell me, anything you want to see from me, let me know in a comment down below. And on top of that, if you want to see more videos like this as soon as they go live, make sure to subscribe. And with that said, hopefully you have a wonderful day and peace.